What can we expect in Season 2 of the live-action One Piece series? Let's hit the intro. So what is going on, my fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil TMNT here, and today I want to talk about what we can expect to see in Season 2 of the live-action Netflix One Piece series. I'm super excited for it because I absolutely loved Season 1 of the live-action series. They definitely did get it right with this live-action series, and what's crazy is One Piece is one of the most out there type of series when it comes to anime to make look good in a live action, but they did succeed with it. So we know where our Straw Hats are heading, the Grand Line, but before they get there, the very first episode should kick off with Loguetown, and we should get introduced to Smoker, to Shigi, and later on in Loguetown, Sea Dragon. God, I can't wait for that. The Loguetown arc should be a lot of fun in live action because it was one of my favorite islands they actually stopped at. Plus Zoro getting his 2 new swords, that was a really cool episode as well. And they better have those in there because he does need some new swords because Mihawk broke his. Plus being introduced to Smoker should be badass too. But it is a fun little arc, and I feel like the entire hour-long episode will be all of that, and possibly then heading up the reverse mountain into the Grand Line. Now in the anime, we next run into Laboon the Whale, which is, spoilers, you've just been warned, if you're not caught up with One Piece, or at least where Brook is introduced. The same whale who is running along Brooks's old pirate ship from back in the day. They asked Laboon to wait for them at the beginning of the Grand Line, and they'll come back for him because the Grand Line was way too dangerous for him. Laboon was a baby at the time, so that's why they wanted him to stay there. Now he's fully grown and patiently waits for his friends to return, not knowing they all ended up dying besides Brook, which is very sad if you think about it. So this should definitely be in the live action series because it ties into Brooks' story. Luffy actually makes Laboon a part of the Straw Hat Pirates too during that little arc there. And I really can't wait for Brook and Laboon to reunite in the anime or the manga. That's gonna be a great scene. So after the whole Laboon thing, we should also be introduced to Vivi and more of the Baroque works agents, along with Gold Roger's doctor, Crocus, I think it is. So the next big arc we should see is Whisky Peak, which is where we get introduced to a ton of Baroque Works members, plus we'll meet Vivi, which I can't wait to meet her in live action, which that should be a super fun, exciting episode. Plus Zoro does a lot of damage to Baroque Works, all on his own, which would be pretty awesome. That might also be an entire episode or added with Laboon's little arc for an entire episode. We will have to see when Season 2 does come out. So the next arcs are Little Big Garden and Drum Island, Chopper's arc. Now, Little Big Garden should be in the live-action series, but it might turn out a lot different, like how they switched up the Baratier arc in live-action. But the Giants are going to be a huge part in One Piece, so that arc definitely needs to happen. I don't think it'll be an entire episode. I mean, it might, but we will have to see. Now, the arc I'm going to be patiently waiting for in live action because we will be introduced to a fan favorite, which is the Straw Hats Dr. Tony Chopper, and one of the cutest characters in One Piece. Plus, we get his heartbreaking backstory as well, which will be absolutely sad. Very, very sad. Also, actress Jamie Lee Curtis is a huge One Piece fan, and her, along with a ton of fans, want her to play Dr. Correa, which I am 100% that's who she's playing, as the writers or showrunners confirm they are writing a specific part for Jamie Lee Curtis. So we'll also be introduced to her as well, which I can't wait for. I'm also very curious as to how they'll do Chopper. I'm thinking more CGI, or they could go the route they did with Grogu, aka Baby Yoda from The Mandalorian, which can work great too. CGI might be the best bet for Chopper in his main form that he's always in, the smaller form, when he's little. But who knows what they'll do. We will also have to see when Season 2 comes out. So after Drum Island, this is where I think most of Season 2's episodes will take place, and that is the Alabasta arc. I almost forgot that we will also be introduced to the live-action version of Portgas D. Ace. Aw man, this is gonna be so freaking awesome. Plus Crocodile, number 1, number 2, Bon Clay, and a bunch of others. Curious to what Baroque Works members will be cut and which ones will remain. But yeah, I think the Alabasta arc is going to be at least 4 episodes. If they're going to stick to doing 8 episodes per season, like what they did with Season 1, because Alabasta is a very long story arc and the first main big story arc in One Piece. I think we're going to see all 3 fights between Crocodile and Luffy. First one, Luffy loses. Second, Luffy makes Crocodile run away. Then we get the final showdown between the two. And how could I forget my favorite woman character in One Piece? We will also be introduced to Nico Robin, which is my anime wife. Can't wait to see who they get to play her. And I do like how they get actors who aren't as big to play like the Straw Hats and some of the other characters. I always feel like that works out better instead of getting like big name actors. I'm not sure if we'll see the Alabasta battle ducks like Karu. We might get them, but Karu was a pretty important character to tell you the truth. He helped out Vivi and the Straw Hats in a lot of different situations. Just CGI them, One Piece live action showrunners. Just do that, CGI them. We'll also get Nami's first big main fight as well against Miss Doublefinger. And we'll get the fight with Usopp and Chopper versus Mr. 4 and Miss Merry Christmas. We will also get the fight between Sanji and Mr. 2, aka Bon Clay. And one of the fights I'm most excited for is, of course, my favorite character, Zoro, as he upgrades himself when he's fighting Mr. 1, aka the killer Das Bones. That should be a great live action fight, because Mikenyu is just awesome. Just how he does his swordplay in movies and stuff. Like, he did great in the first season, so I can't wait to see that fight between him and Mr. 1. God, I cannot wait for Season 2. Hurry up, Netflix. I hope it doesn't take too long. And of course, we will have Luffy and Crocodile's final showdown, which should be amazing. But this is going to be great. A lot of great new important characters being introduced, new islands, more exploring, more world building, and just more from the characters we all love. The Straw Hats. Everybody loves the live action versions of them, including myself. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be introduced to Smoker, and we will get more of him after Loguetown, since he is chasing after Luffy into the Grand Line. We'll get more Tashiki as well. I'm curious who they're going to get to play both of those two characters. We also have a big war in Alabasta. We will also see Pell and Chaka. I think that's how you say his name. Really want to see how they'll do Pell, though, and his Devil Fruit. Well, both their Devil Fruits. This season is seriously going to be lit, though. Season 2 is going to be a lot bigger than Season 1, so the showrunners better be prepared. And I know Oda won't let them F it up, because he wouldn't let them with Season 1. To me, Oda was a big reason why Season 1 was incredibly successful and good, and he'll make sure every season will continue to stay on that path. There's so much more to Season 2 compared to Season 1, and there's a lot more going on, plus they'll be stopping at Loguetown. Then we have the Reverse Mountain, Laboon, Whisky Peak, Little Garden, Drum Island, and finally Alabasta. So that's a lot more stops than Season 1 as well. Season 1 first stopped where Morgan was running things, then we had Syrup Island where Usopp is from, then we had the Baratier, and then finally Arlong Park, and where Nami is from, Kokoyashi Village on the Konomi Islands. I think Season 2 will be as successful as Season 1. If not, I think it'll be even better. They know how big of a project they have on their hands, and now fans absolutely love the live action Straw Hats and other One Piece characters like Buggy, Mihawk, and of course, more. So we have a lot new fan favorite characters being introduced this season. I hope none of them are cut out, which I doubt they will be, because they are too important to this story. This season is going to be so much bigger and hopefully better than Season 1, because as I mentioned, this is where we get into the first main big story arc with Alabasta. I'm sure the showrunners and everyone working on the project will know what to do. Plus, we have Oda there, too, giving the final say on things. things, which I'm so glad he is. I'm also sure he's going to pick the actress for Robin as well. I think he will when it comes to every Straw Hat member, which I hope he does, because they are his characters that he created. Now for season 3, I'm very curious if they'll do Skypiea or skip it, because technically they could if they really wanted to, but I feel like Skypiea and the little arc before Skypiea will be all of season 3. Then season 4 will just be Water 7 and Annie's lobby, and maybe the Davy back fight as well. But yeah, Annie's lobby and Water 7, that will be an entire season, or possibly 2, depending on how it's written. I am super hyped for this live action One Piece series and future seasons, and very, very curious to see how they will transition all these upcoming arcs into live action. But anyway, that is the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments how you think season 2 will turn out, and which new big characters are you most excited to see, whether it's Chopper or Ace or Robin or Crocodile or Vivi or someone else. I'm most excited for Robin and Chopper. Cannot wait to see just all these new characters. But thanks for watching, and don't forget, I will catch you on the next episode of Daredevil 19, and I will also see you guys later.